Watch S.N.L. not pull any punches on former cast member Franken. Last week Saturday Night Live had the unpleasant task of calling out four-time host Louis C.K. when allegations about the comedian's history of sexual misconduct came to light. That awkward position, prompting us to ask how the late-night institution would handle one of its own, reared its head again this week when former cast member turned Senator Franken became embroiled in his own scandal. Would S.N.L shy away from taking swings at well-liked politician who not only created an iconic character or two, but started writing for the show during its very first season? As it turns out, no. Colin Jost had these unequivocally harsh words for Franken. S.N.L still hasn't figured out quite how to deal with the avalanche of sexual misconduct and assault allegations during the sketch portion of the show, leaving Weekend Update hosts Jost and Michael Che to shoulder most of the burden of the most talked about issue in America this fall. Jost and Che have been taking the subject head-on in the past few weeks, with Jost calling CK a sex monster, and, this week, Che followed his co-anchor's Franken bit by saying, and without even looking, "You can bet that President Trump called out Franken, and not Roy Moore, who's accused of way worse, by the way. But Franken is a liberal and Trump and Moore are conservatives, and in this country everybody has to pick a side. Except for me, I think they're all bitches." Jost and Che, despite their spotty record on gendered issues, are doing an admirable job in not holding back on these sexual assault allegations, particularly the ones that include liberal S.N.L darlings and alums. Still, the never-ending cycle of this particular kind of story makes the lack of a female co-anchor on the update desk feel all the more apparent. It's hard not to wonder what an Amy Poehler, Cecily Strong, Tina Fey, or Jane Curtin would do with these kinds of segments. Meanwhile, it's hard to say if the rest of S.N.L will ever be up for handling the sensitive subject of sexual assault. One awkward Harvey Weinstein-inspired sketch, an even worse Roy Moore sketch, and a few brief mentions sprinkled into cold opens aside, the show has largely sidestepped the issue. It's hard to blame S.N.L for not wanting to risk making light of very serious matters, but that's exactly the thin line the show expertly skated last season.